Hey everybody, this is Trish Jones, and today I want to talk about you being you. Now, what am I talking about when I'm talking about you being you? I've been talking a lot about finding your passion. If you go on my site, you'll see that I talk a lot about being authentic. But in order for you to find your passion and in order for you to be authentic, you have to recognize who you really are. And I would say for a lot of people, and I know that sounds like I'm generalizing, but I would actually go as far as saying for most people, they do not really know who they are. They have been told by family, friends, work colleagues, boss, you should be like this. Or they do what I call wear a mask in order for people that they're around to like them. So indoors they're one person, when they go outdoors they're somebody else, and they wear this mask. And I'm not saying necessarily that the mask is bad. However, what I'm saying is that the mask doesn't allow you to be yourself. And the problem is when you try to be somebody other than yourself, and then somebody kind of sees the real you and they don't like the real you, you then think there's something wrong with you. And the reason I'm such I'm qualified to talk about this is because I have allowed the same thing to happen to me. Even though I used to be a practitioner for Insights Personality Profiling, and I am the same inside as I am outside. Basically what you see is what you get, whereas some people are very much different inside than they are when they go into the workplace or when they're outdoors. I'm not actually like that. However, I have allowed people to speak into my life and tell me I should be like this, I should be like that. And what it actually does is makes you feel uncomfortable with who you are. And this is why you get all kinds of problems with image. People getting things like bulimia, eating disorders, because they think because they've been told so often that they're fat and they ought to be slim like whoever. And you see all the ads on the newspaper and in the front of the magazines with the perfect hourglass shaped figured lady, and everybody wants to be like that lady. And so then they gorge their food, and then they go and stick their fingers down their throats to actually throw up. And by the way, I make it very clear that I'm not making fun of those people, because I actually know someone who's gone, who is still struggling with that issue. And it is a serious psychological problem, and it can actually kill you. But these people have a real, not just perceived, they have a real fear, but also behind that real fear is a real need to be accepted, a real need to look the part, because more often than not, these issues actually start when children are young, and so they're molded by whether it's their parents, their grandparents, the kids at school. You often get the pretty girl or the not pretty boy, the handsome boy in school that everybody either likes or dislikes because they don't have the same attributes as that person. And children can be very, very cruel. So as you get older, all of this dirt is dished on you, and you start thinking that you ought to be somebody else, when really behind all of that image that you are now using as a facade is just this beautiful person waiting to emerge, wanting to come forth. And you're probably thinking to yourself, but Trish, I don't know you. And I'll say, but God does. And God never made a dud. And so you are not supposed to conform to other people. You are created. I'm sorry if people get offended by me saying this, but you are created in the image of God. And that image is beautiful. You, underneath all of the facade, is a beautiful person. And I don't care whether you've got anger issues, whether you use foul language all the time, whether people look at you and say, gosh, that person's not a very nice person. That's who you have become, not who you really are. You can actually get rid of all of that facade. You can drop the hard girl or hard boy attitude. I want everybody to know that I'm tough, don't come mess with me. You can drop all of that. You've had to create that to protect yourself. But you don't have to live like that. You only need to protect yourself from those people whom you allow to trespass on you. And so I want to say this. When you gather around people and you become you, and they try to tell you to be somebody else, you know what you need to start making a decision to do? Tell them, you do you and I'll do me. And I am telling you, there are people out there who would love to spend time with the real you. Because let's face it, is it not tiring putting on a facade? Is it not tiring trying to be like your friend or your brother or your mother or whoever? It's tiring. It's hard work. And also when you do that, you don't actually, you can't find your real passion. You can't find your real passion because in your head, you're telling yourself, should I really like this or shouldn't I ought to be like this? And because you're not being real anyway, you're not being real with yourself anyway, you can't really know what your true passion is. And if you're not being really real with yourself and you can't know what your true passion is, you therefore can't know what your real purpose is because you are acting. You're acting out somebody else's life. And it's not even really somebody else because it's combined with an element of you anyway. And so put down the act, lay down the act. And I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way as if there is something wrong with you. We've all done it. We've all done the acting. But decide to spend time alone with yourself, getting to know who you are, being comfortable, as I say, being comfortable in your own skin. And when I say in your own skin, I'm not talking about skin color. I'm talking about just being comfortable with who you are. And you will then attract those people who like you. And you want to spend time with those people who lift you up. You know, if you're around people all the time who are constantly putting you down, telling you ought to be like this, it's only because they're not comfortable with who they are. And so they need a buddy. So, you know, they need to be in control to tell other people how they should be living their lives when in reality they're not even really living their own life. They're not comfortable with who they are. But start making that statement. You be you do you, and I will do me. And watch and see how comfortable you become with being who you really are, taking off the mask, taking off the facade, dropping the act, wasting your energy trying to be something and somebody else. I'm telling you, behind the real you, behind the mask, behind the facade is the most beautiful person waiting to emerge, and we all want to see it. Subscribe to my videos, and don't forget, if you want more of this information, go to www.trishjones.com. but make sure you subscribe because I'm really loving doing these videos. And ask me questions. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me what your struggle is in terms of knowing, even worse, knowing that you are putting on an act, but not knowing how to get back in alignment with who you are. Put some comments. Go to my blog if you need to. If you want to send me a private message, send me a private message, and I will answer you. I will answer you. Okay, so ensure that you subscribe to the videos as well, so that you can receive more of these. Ciao, ciao.